Hi, I am Eriksson. So here we are in Copenhagen and we're at the restaurant Alchemist. And we're here to meet with the chef, Rasmus Munk. And we're here to find out about their holistic view on fine dining, combining great produce and products with new techniques and old techniques, creating a full-fledged experience, and mix that with a 360-degree experience in a theatrical setting. If you were to explain for somebody that's never eaten at Alchemist about your style of cooking, what would you say?
Yeah, we call it holistic cuisine. I still lacked of words for describing what kind of cuisine we were doing. Our ambition is to focusing beyond the plate as well. Then I want to add some layers on it that could stimulate you and make a very immersive dining experience. That is what we want to do with Alchemist, is to create a space where it's beyond the plate. There's more canvas to paint on than just the food. And I think it's hard to say as a chef, because the food is the most important thing, and it will always be for me as well. But it's amazing. Yesterday I spent my whole day with two animators regarding new content to the dome, and then you have a canvas where you can talk about things that's also important, but in another way. It doesn't need to be edible. You don't need to think about textures. You don't need to. There is more about the visual effects and the sounds and all of these things, which is quite amazing, and for me can bring the plate to another level, because it all affects you, and that's what we want to really do here, like make a very immersive dining experience where we have a focus on a holistic approach.
A restaurant is a 360-degree gastronomic experience with different canvases, as you are talking about. So focus on the canvas, the plate. How do you find the right produce or products to be able to create the dishes that you are talking about?
It's all about really researching about the farmers and the ingredients, of course, and then a lot of tests with the ingredients. But for me, we don't have this dogma about can't use anything from outside the Nordic region. So we embrace the new Nordic manifesto and also the way of thinking as a Nordic restaurant. It's not a new thing for me, because all of that happened when I was an apprentice as a chef. So it was something that was taught in that race as being a chef, and a normal thing for me. But for older generation, it was quite a new thing as well. So we embrace that and find as well our herbs, and we have a lot of foragers into the place and local farmers, but I don't want to go on a compromise with the flavors or the quality of the meat examples. And then if you go to Spain or you go to Japan, this is another quality, and it's just on another level, and I don't want to cheat my guests to discover that. And Alchemist for me is a discovering of gastronomy, and gastronomy is also outside the Nordic region. So for me, we sort out the best ingredients. That's absolutely the most important thing, the taste and the quality, and of course the holistic mindset on it as well. Like, we don't want to import anything that is bad for the environment. We don't want to just fly in 2 cheeks of something if there's not more coming in anyhow. So to check up of the different things, and also have like a very science approach to it, like, because a lot of people think it's more sustainable to get a tomato from Denmark, but it's more sustainable to get it from the season in Spain or Italy, and that thinking we really keen on when we do the thing, and then we are really focusing on flavor and quality.
To be able to take care of the produce and products that you find all around the world with no limits, using different techniques. I can see that you have a fantastic lab here. Can you tell me more about that?
I think it's quite up in time right now to do less with techniques and like go more back to the traditional cooking over fire and all of these things. And that's amazing as well, because fire can give you and provide you some unique flavors. And as we use fire as well as we use a pan for cooking on, we also use a cryo fryer that can go down to minus 150 Celsius. We also use a vacuum distillator, or we use a mini force bioreactor to create the right environment for making our own soy sauces and whatever. So we use the different tools as a part of a language to make small new techniques and that in the end of the day can create a good sensual experience for the guests. So,
being an artist in the kitchen is one thing. Being an artist on the canvas of the total experience, the holistic experience that you're talking about. Could you take us through the tour that we get here at Alchemist?
Yeah, so the tour is starting actually outside the building. Is starting when you're arriving and hear the music from the speakers outside, and it was to create a drawing feeling already, to draw into this space. And then you have this, of course, huge bronze door outside that is 4 meters high and 2.5 meters wide, and the weight of 2 tons. So it's quite a big door. That door is opening up in the evening time. This mystic music, and you come into the first room where we have hired 2 actors to standing and taking your jackets and put on the setting. And already there we have some elements that you never use in restaurants, like actors. And so what is amazing with actors is really they can put up this quiet of reality we want to create in there. And then you come into our first installation room where we have different artists making small exhibitions in there. One of the first artists here is Lady Aiko, that made little New York, and New York was talking about immigration and different culture. When we built the space, it was up to the election, and there was a lot about Brexit and Trump. And for me, it's not, we don't want to say who is right or who is wrong. We just want to remember people on, if we had closed the borders 300 years ago in Denmark, we didn't have that many interesting things. So a lot of things coming from the outside, and New York is a great example of something that's built up from immigration. It's a huge room. There's 4 amazing walls, and one of the walls can lift up the whole canvas as well. And in there as well, there's the actors. So the actors will also provide with some information, an edible piece of paper with some quotation of American personalities about immigration and embracing that. After that, you walk into the wine cellar. The idea with the wine cellar was that I wanted people to feel like they were inside the wine cellar. So when you see it from the sides, it's quite for me, it had been a very impressive wine cellar to have on the old restaurant. And a lot of people think that's it when they walk through the glass walkway. And then they come into the lounge here, and most of the people stand and look up on the curtains and the pipe, messing like brass pipe coming down. And not realize that when they turn around, there's a wine cellar that's 50 meters high and made in glass. So that surprise is quite amazing as well. It's really give something to the guest. And then you also have the view into our research kitchen. So in here it was also the meaning of being impressed, but also coming in and be comfort again. Sit down and get some snacks, champagne, cocktail, and then you're eating the first 6 impressions here, and then you walk up of the staircase, coming up through the wine cellar again, and then into the dome, which is the main dining room of the experience. So in the dome, we of course have these 10 projectors, latest projectors that can create this amazing image, all surrounded by the guests. I didn't want it to be a restaurant where that didn't renew. It needed to be a thing that renewed as much as the food. So it's really a canvas where you you can do endless stuff and also connect it together with the food. And we also have a sound engineer that's sitting and doing the whole sound picture for the whole restaurant. And the sound picture is more focused in the dome, but as well, like in New York, there's a special content for that. So we have in the whole house we have 14 different like playlists or sound designs for the different rooms. After the dome, where you get most of your impressions, you walk into our black box inspired by the theater. So in this black box right now, we're talking about the LGBTQ community and embracing that. So you walk into this LED room with 1,000 meters of LED lights. There's like blinking the rainbow flags colors. So after that room, you go into the service kitchen, get a little kitchen tour from the chefs, telling about the kitchen and how it's built up. And then you take the lift up to our end destination, which is the balcony. For the first time, you have like, for me, it's like being behind the sets of a theater. You can really see the different elements of the experience, where you have been and the different rooms. So it's, and up there you sitting digestive and get coffee and tea, cocktail if you want that, and just relax and can ask as many questions as you want. The chef is going up there as well. The colors there's chosen is very into, you need to relax more. The furniture as well is more laid back, and then you just got a couple of impressions up there that's more like a petit fours, and then after that you take the lift down, which so is the first room you have been in twice, and that's also does that the lift is changing on the way down with another content in a screen, so we can change that as well. And then you end up in our little butterfly room, and you go outside of a door 70 meter longer down the road that you came in. So, and then it's over.
Alchemist being a total experience is coming into a new world, but you also take impression from the world outside. As you know, many of the top chefs in the world are focusing on the concept of no waste kitchen, or nose to tail eating, or farm to table cooking. What's your take on that?
For me, it's important to as well have to focus on that, focus on the sustainability in general, also economy, sustainability in the kitchen for the workers there. But yeah, as I said, we don't limit it in the way that we import Spanish meat, or we take the best olive oil from Spain or wasabi from Japan. But we also look at the CO2 print from the things that we're getting in. Is it making sense? Is this an ingredient we could get in the Nordic region that's better? And then we also use a lot of things from Denmark, like, I mean, a lot of all our chickens and all the eggs and all our dairies and most of our greens and stuff like that is from Denmark. So I think 80% is probably from Denmark, and then 20% from the outside region. And the things we import is like olive oil and vinegars and example a bit of coham, or like and then some Spanish good quality meat, and it's just because the quality is better than what we can get here. So for us it's important to be sustainable and to have that approach in everything we do. And also when we select our chocolate, we don't use from very big brands. We find the farmers that is actually giving money back to the people. It's a big focus for us, and then we try to create those awareness about the problems we have in Denmark. So we talk about antibiotic use in our Danish pig industry. We talk about caged chicken, which is a huge problem still in Denmark. And all of these things we try to put in front of the guest and take action of it. And that's for me a way also to be sustainable, to talk about these things.
Now you have created this holistic experience, not only the 360-degree gastronomic experience, but also an experience where the guests, they are part of a whole setup. People come from all over the world to eat here. How do you see the future? Where will you go from now?
We have a huge list of things I really want to do. It's the first time in my life where I really feel like there's not hours enough in the day. So our main goal is really to try to change a fine dining experience, see how far we can go, and use elements from the theater and art world. And right now it seems like it's an endless journey and a very learning journey. Also, there are so many things to learn. It's quite amazing. And so I feel like we have been ongoing now for 6-7 months, and I'll really look forward to see where we are in year 2 or year 3 and year 4, because there's so many things we want to do.
If you were to give an advice to a young person that wants to be a chef like yourself, what would you say?
I'll say that you need to work hard, accept sacrifices, and then remember yourself.